Can't shake this thing, man.
Good evening, Pittsburgh fans, and welcome to the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. Joining me is my co-host, Edward and Tracy. Good evening, gentlemen.
Lieutenant.
How we doing?
Hi, Billy. Hi, Ed.
William. Trace.
Yeah.
Milo. Soraka the second.
Yeah. So how we doing tonight, gentlemen? Good?
Doing well, Billy. Doing well. Excited.
Right. Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. I know last week we were Steelers heavy with Ray Fittipaldo. This week, we got a lot to talk about. There's been a lot that we didn't talk about last week. In other sports other than the other teams other than the Steelers, been a lot of news. So we're kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit on that one, but we'll get you sped up on that in case you've been under a rock or something like that. But I'm sure most of our listeners know what's going on with the Pirates and the Penguins, and so. But last week was heavy with Ray. We had him for the full hour. That was awesome. Got to pick his brain a lot about the draft and what he thought and just different things. So to start off, a little bit shocked to wake up on Wednesday and hear that Pickens was traded to Dallas. We'll get into that, but I want to talk. Let's start off tonight, and let's talk about the opponents that the Steelers are going to face here. So first off, I guess the opponent is figured out for that Ireland game. It's going to be the Vikings. They facing the Vikings again over there in Europe. I was at the one prior back in 2013. I was at Wembley to see the Steelers play the Vikings. Great experience. I'd love to go to this one too, man. I wish we could get press credentials. That'd be great. If we could swing that, man, that would be awesome. But be great to go over there to Ireland. Trace, I know you're not Irish, but me and Ed are definitely Irish, so we could, go back to the motherland.
Yeah. William, I'll have you know, I have a grandmother whose maiden name was O'Donnell.
Okay, so he has a little Irish on him. All right, there, folks. I stand corrected. Okay, so let's get into to the opponents here, guys. Just looking at what we got here. At home, the Steelers' usual suspects going to play the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns. Gonna host the Buffalo Bills, Green Bay Packers, the Indianapolis Colts, Miami Dolphins, Minnesota Vikings, Seattle Seahawks. On the road, obviously your usual suspects in Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. But you're also going to go to Soldier Field and play the Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Chargers, New England Patriots, and New York Jets. I was listening to Jim and Pat moving the chains today on SiriusXM, and they were talking Steelers schedule, and they said that it's 19th in terms of difficulty. Right? Yep. Sorry. Thanks, Ed. So. What do you think, guys? What do you think of that schedule?
The schedule. I think it's got to see how the games lay out, right?
Yeah.
Do they have to play all these back to backs?
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, last year was brutal. What you had three games in 11 days. Pretty brutal stretch.
To be fair, that happens every single year in the NFL to at least 6 teams every year.
Right.
So
yeah, but it was a pretty brutal stretch there to play on Christmas, and and you had a slew of AFC North games toward the end, and then you played the Chiefs, you played the Eagles. I mean, you had a murderer's row to close out the season.
Yeah.
Not making excuses, but I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, it was a hard schedule last year. The hardest, definitely had the number one hardest schedule in the NFL last year. This year, 19th. I don't know. I mean, kind of hard to say. I don't always agree with those strength of schedule. I don't know, because I mean, you never know how things are going to play out. You know what I mean? I mean, it could be easier than what you think. It could be harder than what you think. We all know, you know, there's no slouches in the NFL. It's any given Sunday. So, you know, I don't know. But
yeah, it's going to be interesting. I just want to see when they're. Oh, hold on, we have it right now. I'll tell you exactly now.
I know we don't know the exact dates yet. That's going to come here pretty soon. When is that? When is the actual schedule release? Is it June? Beginning of June?
I'm going to break it right now for you, Billy.
Okay.
Because it is tonight. The release is happening right now. Week
Oh,
one.
the release is happening tonight. Okay.
It's already happened.
Wow.
Week one at the Jets. Week 2, home to Seahawks. Week 3 at the Patriots. Week 4, Dublin with the Vikings. They have an early bye, man. Week 5 bye.
That's rough. That sucks.
Week 6, home to the Browns. Week 7 at Bengals, Thursday Night Football. Week 8, Sunday Night Football, home to the Packers. Week 9, home to the Colts. Week 10, Sunday Night Football at the Chargers. Week 11, Bengals. Week 12 at Bears. Week 13, Bills. Week 14 at Ravens. Week 15, Monday Night Football, Dolphins. Week 16 at Lions. Week 17 at Browns. And Week 18, they finish off with the Ravens.
Wow.
Okay, yeah. Fun.
That early bye week sucks, man.
So I'm looking at it right now. So they just must have released it at 8:00.
They
because
did.
I prior to the show I looked at it and they just had home and away, basically what I read to you. So okay, so to open up at Jets, here's a question for you. Aaron Rodgers signs. What's going to be I don't know. What's going to be a game that you're looking at the Jets or hosting the Packers?
Packers.
Woo!
I don't know, man.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. I mean, you know, he had a longer career with the Packers, did more with the Packers. That's kind of what I'm kind of with you on that one.
There's a little bit of an old rivalry between the Packers and the Steelers too.
Well, especially after that Super Bowl. Yeah, I would agree with that. And that is the 26th of October. That's week 8, hosting the Packers. And that's going to be a Sunday Night Football, is it? Yeah, that's going to be Sunday Night Football. So, I don't know. At Jets, though, you're at MetLife week 1. You know, I mean, you know how
Justin Fields have the rock there?
Yeah, that's going to be,
He's going to be motivated.
Right.
If Aaron signs, he's going to be motivated. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be it's going to be definitely interesting. And you know how those Jets fans are passionate, man. It's going to be a rough place for him to go in and play. I can tell you that much. I mean, they're not like Philly fans. They're not throwing snowballs at Santa Claus or anything like that. But Jets fans are pretty passionate. You got what? What's his name? Fireman
Bill.
Fireman Bill? I thought it was Fireman. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Joe, wasn't it Joe?
Fireman Joe. Yeah.
Fireman Bill's from In Living Color.
Yeah.
You are right.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Fire Marshal Bill, yeah.
Come on, man.
Let me tell you something.
So week 1 at the Jets, week 2 hosting the Seahawks.
Is it too early to go game by game, make a prediction?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
What do you? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
That's what I say.
All right. Week 1 at the Jets. Trace, who you got?
I think the Steelers. I do, but the quarterback is still the question mark.
Yeah. This is perfect, though. We'll do, before and after Aaron.
Right.
So we can do it, BA and AA. So this is BA.
Yeah.
At the Jets, week 1. Jets got a good defense. Steelers aren't going to be able to move the ball. This looks like a game that's going to be 10-3, 10-7, 9-6, something like that. I'm giving the edge. I'm going to give the edge to the Steelers.
I'm with you on that. I think it could. You're right about your Jets got a good defense. There's so many unknowns with the Steelers offensively. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Aaron Rodgers signs. They're going to have to sign another receiver. They're going to, you're not going to be able to do a. You're not going to be doing a Robert Woods type signing. You're going to maybe go out and get Lazard or.
What about Roman Wilson? Does he take a step forward and actually get on the field and make a difference?
I don't know. We talked about Ray. We talked with Ray about that. He didn't have last year. Last year was a waste. So now he's starting basically. He's a rookie again. Really.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, he had nothing last year. Nothing. Didn't even get a snap last year. So
Yeah, that's going to be. It is a tough one to do, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna edge with the Steelers at the Jets week 1. I'm just gonna, I don't know. I mean, you got Glenn taking over as coach. You've got Justin Fields here again. He's in another system. Got to learn another system again. I don't know.
Here's and before we go just a tad further, here's what you have on the market right now as far as veteran receiver. It's a pretty darn good. You've got Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Gabe Davis, Nelson Aguilar, DJ Chark, Tyler Boyd.
Yeah,
right.
You
got Jamison Crowder. You got. I'm just trying to think. They already had him. That's about all because they've had a couple of them, but still, that's not bad.
I like Gabe Davis. I really do. I think he's a good,
He's big too.
Yeah, he is. And
is he the same type of player as Metcalf? You think or no?
I think he's close.
Then I'd go to Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
he's quiet. He's consistent. He doesn't open his mouth. He just plays ball.
He's a route runner too, like a possession receiver.
Davis was on Jacksonville last year, correct?
Right. Yep.
Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong, but he played in Buffalo, I think, for about 4 seasons, right?
He played in Buffalo for 4 seasons,
and I think he did pretty well in Buffalo. I mean, he had a lot of yards. I want to say he had like 163 receptions. I think he had close to 30 touchdowns. In his 4 seasons,
he did very well with Wilson.
Right.
Yeah. Came up big in that one AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, I like.
And he's 26 years old. He's only going to be 27 this year.
Yeah. I mean, I know. Didn't he have a knee injury last year? Though wasn't he sidelined for like 7-8 weeks?
But I mean, it wasn't anything big though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I mean, he didn't. It wasn't an ACL or anything. I think it was just. I'm looking at it. I think it was just a bruise.
But I like him. I really do. I like Gabe Davis. I think, and you could probably get him at a pretty good rate. I mean, Amari Cooper's going to cost you some money. Keenan Allen's going to cost you some money. I think Lazard even would cost you some money. Although, like I said,
Lazard's re-signed with the Jets.
He already signed?
Yeah, with the Jets.
Okay. Well, they talked about Lazard being an option for.
Yeah.
So.
He ain't no option now.
Yeah. So he just must have signed. Yeah. I mean, that could be a security blanket for Rodgers. If Rodgers signs, I mean, hey, we don't. That's still up in the air. Like I said, I still think he's going to sign after mini camp. I really believe it. So.
You really think they're going to let him do that?
Well, you know what? I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, would it surprise you?
I think it would, honestly. I think the reason why they pushed their minicamp back purposefully, from what I've read, to accommodate him.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm wrong 75 times a day, so it's not a big deal. Yeah. But I thought that's why I thought that's why they pushed it back.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
All right. Hosting the Seahawks. What do you think? Seahawks, you lose Geno Smith. I don't know. I mean, they're just a different team. now. I think that's a winnable game.
I think they lose that game just because of the defensive-minded coach who came from the same cut of jib from Baltimore. I think he'll do very well. He knows the Steelers very well. I think that's a loss.
Yeah.
I think they beat Seattle.
So you guys have 2-0. I've got 1-1. Keep going.
We got Michael
Motorcycle.
Michael Papermick Jr. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right there, Mike. I'm sorry. Rogers only wants to accommodate himself. I agree. He does. He does.
Popiernek.
Yeah.
Michael Popiernek Jr.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you're right, Mike. I agree with you. Yeah, you're hit the nail on the head. He's done it his whole career. Yeah, I mean, you're right. So.
Which makes no sense if they got rid of George Pickens because he was a locker room problem to bring a locker room problem in to run the offense.
I don't think he's a locker room problem. I don't think nobody's ever said Rodgers is a locker room problem. He doesn't get along with authority, which is the coach and the general managers. I don't think he's necessarily,
Okay.
Mike's fine. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, all right, week 3 at the Patriots. I think that's a win. That's a win.
Okay,
I do too.
Okay, so now you're 3-0.
Right.
Okay. All right. I think that's probably. I'll give them the win on that. That's 2-1. Rookie quarterback-ish. I'll go 2-1.
All right, week 4 in Croke Park, Ireland.
Croke Park
against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to go with a loss on that one.
Concur.
I'm going to go with a giant loss. They're 2-2.
They lost when I went to Wembley. I remember that. They lost.
They did.
I remember that game.
We got 3-1 the first quarter.
If I want to say, Adrian Peterson almost rushed for 200 yards that game.
I remember that.
He did.
Yeah, he was all over the. That's why they lost the game.
Couldn't handle the running game.
Mike says Pats. Mike says Vikings. Okay. Bye week. Terrible place to have a bye week. Week 5. I mean, that's especially
bad. In a long season.
Yeah, especially 17 games. That's the worst place to have a bye week. I mean, that's terrible. That's gonna suck. That's gonna suck big time. You come back off the bye week, week 6. You host the Browns. I'm gonna go with the win on that one.
I think so too.
Hosting the Browns.
Yeah.
Who's
going to be Browns quarterback?
We don't know. I'm going to go.
Yeah, we don't know. That's right.
I'll go win 3-2.
Okay. Pitt. Mike says Pitt. Okay. Week 7 at the Bengals. I'm going to go with a loss on this one.
I agree, Billy.
I'm going to go with a loss. A ginormous loss.
Yeah.
It won't be ginormous. I think that the Cincinnati's defense is still going to have trouble, but their passing game is going to really make up for it.
Listen, yeah, exactly. Cincinnati's Achilles heel has been their defense. Period. Last year has been you look at it, you're putting how many games over 30 points scored, and they still lost. It's just been their. They're terrible defensively. You've got what's his name, Trey Hendrickson. More than likely, he's frustrated on his contract. I'll tell you what, that's hell of a defensive end. What did he have last year? I think he led the league in sacks last year.
He was just in the news for that, right, Bill? Is that why you're bringing him up?
Yeah, he's had last 2 years very productive. They need him. They need to sign that guy. All pro pass rusher. You need to sign him. And your defense is terrible. So. All right, home to the Packers. Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm gonna go with a loss on this one.
I agree there as well, Bill.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a loss on that. I don't know. Packers are a pretty formidable team. Ed, what do you say? Ed has frozen. Ed, are you there, buddy?
Frozen, doesn't he?
He is he just came
Oh.
back.
You come back, Eddie.
Packers. I agree with Michael. I've got 3 and 4. You guys got 4 and 2.
Yep.
Pick your Packers, though. You didn't pick the game, though. Packers or Steelers?
We both said Packers,
We
Eddie.
both said Packers. You froze there,
You're
jackass.
4, jackass. You're 4 and 3 right now. Okay. Go ahead. Next one.
All right. 4 and 3. 4 and 3. Edward put it 3 times. 4 and 3. Okay.
Mhm.
Put it a 4th time, Ed. I think we need in the comments a 4th time, buddy.
Hold on. I'm almost there. Go ahead.
All right.
Colts at home.
At the Chargers.
No,
Or, I'm
Colts.
sorry. No, Colts. Colts at home. That's a win. They're going to win that game. That's a
I haven't
win.
winning that game. I have 4 and 4. You guys have 5 and 3. Trace?
I agree with Bill again. I think Billy's spot on with his thought.
Why does it do 3 times every time I do one? That's pretty cool. So if I write the word FUCK, it'll do it 3 times.
Mike says the Steelers.
5 and 3.
All right. At the Chargers, this is going to be a loss. At SoFi, this is a loss for sure.
I don't think so. I think we beat the Chargers.
Lost 5 and 4 for
We beat the Chargers for sure.
Week 11, home to the Bengals. I think I'm going to give them a win on this one.
I like that because 50-50 is about where I'm at with us versus the Bengals, and there's no telling which team will show up on either side of the ball. So I agree, Billy.
6 and 3. Go ahead.
Okay, at the Bears.
Loss.
I think loss.
I think a loss too. I do. I think the
6
Bears
and
going to
4.
beat them. Yep. Home
Week
to the Bills.
Loss.
Week 13, a loss. I agree. A loss. Yep.
Completely agree.
Week 14 at the Ravens.
Loss. Loss. You're at 6 and 6 after 14.
I could pick the Bengals, the Bears. Yep.
What do you think about the Ravens, Trace? At the Ravens.
That's a
week
tough
14.
one. I think we always end up with getting their number later in the season because the more ends up being hurt. The wheels don't always make it. So I think we beat them.
I'm kind of leaning towards that toward late in the season. We kind of have their number, you know. I'm kind of with you on that.
But
Week
if Lamar's legs are rolling, man, nobody stops him.
Yeah. Week 15, Dolphins. Home to the Dolphins on Monday night. This is a win. They're gonna beat the Dolphins.
So you guys are at 8 and 4 right now. Okay.
I agree.
At the Lions, week 16, 21st December. This is a loss.
Yes.
So,
I concur.
okay. At the Browns, week 17. Right 3 days after Christmas, 12/28. Boy, I'm gonna go with a win. I think they're gonna sweep the Browns this year.
I do too.
So now you're at 9.
I think they're gonna split the series with the Ravens, and I think they're gonna.
Ravens and Bengals.
Yeah, I think they split the series with Ravens and Bengals. I think they sweep the Browns.
So you're now at 10 and 6.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
Week 18, home to the Ravens. I think they're going to lose this one.
Yeah. If we're going 50-50, we have to say loss now.
Yeah.
So 10 and 7 for the 3rd year in a row.
Yeah, I'm with it.
I think so, yeah.
I'm with it.
I saw improvements with our draft.
Yeah. 10 and 7.
And our free agency.
Right.
I mean, too.
3 years in a row. And what does that get them?
Mike says Ravens too. He agrees with us. He concurs.
So what does that get you? Have they changed at all? Can they win a playoff game?
I don't know. Very good question. I mean, it's too early to. We're in May. I mean, we need to revisit this here in.
Many times.
Don't
forget, this is before
August.
The answer is they can.
This is before Aaron Rodgers. So we're presuming that Mason Rudolph is going to go 10 and 7 and win a playoff game.
I think he can do that.
This
Well,
is before Aaron.
we say that. I really believe Aaron Rodgers is going to sign. I really
But
believe.
if he does, then we'll do another one. But this is before. This isn't AA. This is BA.
This is BA.
So, before Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
So you guys have them at 10-7 before Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Well,
Are you sure? 10-7
Yeah.
before Aaron Rodgers.
That's where
Well,
we were
let's-
last year with somebody who was playing worse.
Okay. It's all in there. It's in print, baby.
You know what I mean? Like quarterback position wasn't exactly stellar last year, and that's where we were, Eddie. So
You know what that is, though. You know what that makes us now. That makes that 10-7 his story, history, baby. We'll have to revisit it.
all right. So let's. So we covered the strength of schedule. Let's talk about this whole George Pickens thing. We had Ray. Like I said, we had Ray Fittipaldo on the show we had moved the show to Tuesday, so we had Ray on there. Wake up Wednesday morning, and do my normal routine. Wake up, put the pot of coffee on. I turn on the fan. I got a little radio here. I turn on the fan.
Well, before all that, somebody texted both of you. Before all that happened, you may have still been sleeping, but somebody sent you a text.
Well, I didn't look at it. So.
I got it when I was at work.
Yeah, I saw it later, but I turn on the radio. I turn on the radio. I make a pot of coffee. I'm listening, waiting for the coffee to
Percolate.
Yeah, percolate. And I turn on the radio, and I'm sitting down on my bed, and I'm kind of listening to the fan, kind of relaxing. And big news, that George Pickens has been traded to Dallas. It's funny because it's like a catch-22. I can't say I'm surprised, but in the same point in time, I was just the timing of the whole thing. I was a little bit surprised. I really believe they were going to trade him during the draft. I thought they were possibly going to work some kind of deal, and it just didn't come to fruition. And I think because a lot of teams just kind of steered away, from a guy like him. Dallas, on the other hand, has not. And I don't know. I mean, they got next to nothing for him when you look at it. It just comes down to this. Once again, we have a guy that Tomlin and Omar Khan, and really you can go back to even the Kevin Colbert days. You get once again you get a guy that they think they can manage that turns out to be unmanageable. And
well, once again they ignored the warning signs.
Right. I mean, this guy had this stamped on his forehead when he was in Georgia. I mean, this behavior just didn't come about. No. When he got drafted by the Steelers. He was like this in Georgia. He was, there was a lot of issues with him. I mean, this kid, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's not like off-field issues. It's not like he's going out and, yet. I mean, I don't know. You may give him time on this one, yet. I mean, this guy's not, choking his girlfriend or going out and, going 120 in the A1A in Miami, so this, or like you said, flashing. I mean, but this guy was just, he was unmanageable. He was unmanageable. And I tell you what, good luck to Dallas. I tell you what, you've got, now he's going to be competing with CeeDee Lamb for balls. And this guy, it's not gonna be good. I don't think it's and I tell you what, I don't know about what do you think, guys, about Dallas? You think they're gonna have less leniency than what the Steelers had? What do you think? What's your take on this? You think Dallas is gonna put up with him, or you think they're just gonna ship his ass out the first sign of unruly behavior?
Well, I think he's going in not as the wide receiver one, so I think he might have a better attitude.
Well, apparently he did not want to go to Dallas. Apparently that's what we're hearing. He did not want to go to Dallas. Matter of fact, he was following the Dallas Cowboys on Twitter. When he got traded, he stopped following them. So I don't. There's been talks in his camp that he did not want to go to Dallas, and they sent him there. So
it's going to be hard to evaluate him. You have to see what kind of mindset he comes in with. Is he willing to work? Is he willing to block downfield? Is he okay in the wide receiver 2 position? It's in the contract year. He's got to do something.
Yeah.
He can't just not play. If he goes in with an attitude, he's not going to make any money the rest of his life. He's going to be content with $6 million or whatever he made. So if I'm his agent, I sit him down and say, hey, buddy, if you at the end of the year want to say, show me the money, I'm going to tell you, show me the play. You show me the play, I'll show you the money.
Well, I mean, we saw it last year in the end of towards the tail end of the season in Cincinnati. I mean, he had 3 or 4 drop balls, running piss poor routes. I mean, he was terrible. He was god awful. I mean, it's one thing to have an attitude and back it up, like I don't know, Terrell Owens. Yeah, it's another thing to have this attitude and just suck on the field and not be productive. And I mean, when I look at George Pickens, that's what I see. I see a guy who has no business having this attitude because, dude, you're not really backing it up on the field, brother. You're really not. You're really not doing what you should be doing on the football field. Like I said, if you're a TO that says things and is provocative and does but backs it up on the field, hey, I'm all for it. But when you can't back it up, I got a problem with you.
I think if your talent outweighs your foolishness off the field, you're always going to have a job. I don't know that he's had that he's struck that balance yet.
Right.
That's perfectly to your point and Tracy's point. Had he struck that balance, if he had ran routes, shut his mouth, blocked downfield, didn't be so, and he wasn't so demonstrative on the.
You mean just be a teammate? If he would have just been a teammate.
Yeah, you're right, Trace.
I mean, I understand this facade that wide receivers have, like, hey, I want the ball. I get it. You want your receiver to be that way. You want them to be cocky. You want them to constantly want the football. But when you're a guy that pouts but can't back it up on the field, man, that's a problem,
In that Cincinnati game, when they needed that game badly, he had some just
he was terrible.
Terrible.
He was terrible. He was god awful. That told you all you needed to know. In my opinion, that told you all you needed to know.
Well, the other thing is he made ordinary catches look extraordinary because he was out of position. And to Tracy's point, he didn't run the route properly. The quarterback placed the ball where the ball was supposed to be. He had to make those circus catches because he ran the wrong route.
Right.
I mean, you can look at it. He does the spins, the twists, the turns because he's out of position again. That goes back to the discipline of the team. If the team is led by somebody who is not a disciplinarian, i.e. Tomlin, which he's not, it's not going to work. They're going to constantly create these cancers until they have to ship them off. Well, and they've shipped a couple off who've got a couple rings now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Emmanuel Lewis's of the world.
I will say one thing about Tomlin. He did come out and say for the first time in a very long time that that George Pickens needed to grow up. He said that publicly.
Yeah, but that was in the middle of the season, and he didn't grow up at all, and now he's gone.
So well, and
it has hollow words.
Yeah, and also too, not to take a shot at Mike Tomlin, but George Pickens was late for that Christmas Day game. And they asked him about that, and he says, "Well, I really don't recall." It was like a week after they had asked him about that.
Do you agree with what he said, though? Do you agree with what Pickens said about the team? He said they don't have a QB1, they don't have a wide receiver 2. Without me, they're just a name. There's nothing complicated about the offense. I mean, I don't know. Do you?
I mean, coming from him, it's kind of like, but I mean. He's to be honest with you, he's not really that far off.
Right. It's just there's too many.
I mean, here we are. Here we're back to square one. We're back to where we were a year ago, searching for another number 2 or wideout. Here we are again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting world come the start of the season. I listened to Dan Orlovsky. He was on Pat McAfee.
Oh, I heard that too. Boy, bleak.
He said that it's the least scariest offense in the NFL.
Yeah,
So they don't have anything to offer.
He said there's no offense in the league that scares you less than Pittsburgh.
Right.
I mean, okay, so if Aaron Rodgers signs and they go out and they get I don't know, they go out and they sign Amari Cooper.
I'd like that.
Are you gonna still say that, or is Orlowski still gonna say that, or what? Does that make it more promising and not so grim, or what?
All I know is from every report I've read, every video I've seen, is Aaron Rodgers is back to 100% normal. The guy has a golden arm. Nobody's ever questioned his golden arm, right? It's the fact they've questioned his motivation to be all in for said team. So if he's all in and we know he's healthy and he has that golden arm, I can't help to think that that's not going to be a massive upgrade.
Yeah. I know Orlovsky also did say he would have preferred the Steelers to, retain Justin Fields and go after Jackson Dart. I mean, it's difficult. And he's saying about Aaron Rodgers, he said, I don't know, 41-year-old body, you don't know how long he's going to hold up. You don't know if he's going to be. And I mean, his last point is, I can't argue with it, really. I mean, it's
but he can also be smarter in the pocket and just go down like Brady did. Brady didn't bother. When he knew he was cooked, he was cooked. He just went down. He never took a hard shot ever.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's
So I mean, is he going to be, if he's a healthy person? It's just the fact that I don't know, how can you let him commit after June 1?
Yeah.
You need all the reps you can get.
You do. You really do. I mean, you need all the. I mean, he did do some work with DK Metcalf, but that's just throwing to a receiver. That's not actually working with the first team offense and working as a cohesive unit. That's just throwing balls to a receiver. I know he did work out with but
throwing balls.
Looking for a teammate there, Bill.
Well, yeah. How about working with the tight ends too? They keep saying how they want to implement the tight ends and all this stuff.
Go over the middle.
But I can't believe that Ray said that last week. That Mike Tomlin's not a fan of throwing the ball across the middle. Like he's completely taken out a third of the field, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do that for real. Come on. I mean,
they're doing it.
That's just archaic football. Then, that's for me. That would be grounds for firing. You took away a third of the field on offense. Give me a break, dude.
I mean, there's a lot of grounds for firing, but it's just not going to happen,
Yeah. So Michael was asking, what about TJ's contract?
Well, did I miss that? Every time you hit 10-7, so what's the deal with this contract? What's the deal with TJ's contract? Jerry loves his players. Jerry had Michael over in T.O. I love it when there's drama in Dallas. I'm an Eagles fan. Grew up. Sorry, Michael. I'm really behind here, brother. Sorry, I'm behind about 12 comments. Sorry about that. Aaron just crawled out of his cave after smoking peyote. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, if he was here a couple weeks ago, he would have been in a darkness retreat because a lot of people didn't have power here.
Yeah, he would have loved it.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah. So
it would have been heaven for him. What do you think? Is TJ going to hold in or what?
I think he is.
So they're going to spend all that money and kick it all down the road. Because that's basically, they don't have any money right now. That's what they have to do.
Looks like it.
Wow. For a 32-year-old player. I mean, it's the same problem they have in Cincinnati. He's 32. Yeah. I mean, what do? Do you go all in for 1 year, put all the money on the back end, knowing full well you can get out of it?
I don't know. Good question. Very good question.
Especially for somebody who doesn't really play every game now.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing too. I mean, this guy has had and you know what? Last year when he was healthy, he wasn't productive. I mean, I'm just going to say that he wasn't productive.
10 games he missed.
Yeah, basically.
And I really think one of the biggest problems the Steelers have, and they're not talking about it, is you got to kick Fautano into guard, and that means you have a problem on the ends. Because I can't. I'm telling you, Elite athletes are elite athletes.
Aaron is the only pro.
Listening drug and getting in no trouble. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is now he's a unrestricted free agent, so he doesn't really have a job.
Right.
So he's not subjected to the drug testing.
Yeah. Ed, share with us what you saw there. Okay.
So apparently, Aaron was in Mount Lebanon in Virginia Manor. If you know Mount Lebanon, Virginia Manor has some of the bigger, nicer houses. And he was there. He was photographed there with a real estate agent. I don't know what that means.
For those of you who don't know, Ed lives in Mount Lebanon.
Right. And then purportedly, either one, your backup quarterback, Mason Rudolph, already lives in Mount Lebanon. He bought a beautiful home across from the Galleria. Beautiful home. Massive in-ground pool. He already bought it because they said it's a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback who bought it. And I can't imagine Skylar Thompson has the kind of cha-ching to buy it. And I know for sure Howard hasn't even signed, and he's a 6-rounder. So if it's not Aaron, it's Mason Rudolph, and the house is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I know Rudolph has kids, doesn't he?
He does. Yes, he does.
Yeah. So he'll go. He wants his kids to go to those schools. But yeah. That's the rumor. I saw the photo. I sent it to you both on Messenger. Tell me what you think. I mean, it could be a deep, deep fake, but who knows?
All right, TikTok officials unveil the 2026 NFL draft countdown clock. So the one day they were actually putting that up, I was walking. I was work at PNC Park.
Oh yeah,
I walk at Riverwalk, and I had to go into the grass because they were putting it up there at the sidewalk, closed off. So Steelers added Trey Sermon, signed Trey Sermon the other day, added to that running back room.
It's a good signing. Ohio State running back.
It is. Yeah.
He's a workhorse. Imagine if they had never let James Conner go. All the money they could spend elsewhere.
So we just had rookie camp. Will Howard in there and looked pretty good in rookie camp from what I heard. Is it still going on or are they done?
I believe it's done.
I believe it's done too. I think it was just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if I remember correctly. So
looking right now.
But I think it was over. I think it was 4 days. I think it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if I remember. So
let's look it up.
I mean, what do you think about Will Howard? I mean, that's a big question. I mean,
I like him. I want to see what he does. I want to see how he translates to the NFL. I want to see how he grows. If he matures in the position, I think he's coming with the right attitude.
Well, he's a 2-year starter at Ohio State, captain, last year, a national champion last year. So,
played a lot of football.
Played a lot of high-level football and was good. So, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Rookie minicamp, Billy, was 9 to 11. Their OTAs are May 27 to 29, June 3rd to 5th, and mandatory minicamp is 10 to 12 June. So you think he's going to sign between 27 and 29 and June 3rd and 5th?
Potentially. I think he's going to sign like end of June. I really do.
End of June?
Yeah.
So he's going to miss everything.
I think so. I mean, who knows? I mean, I could be wrong.
They have got to get that quarterback room under control. That's the most important position in the sport.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir, Ed. I mean, hey, I'm with you. I'm with you, man.
Putting all their eggs.
That thought never crossed our minds.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up. They're putting all their stock in next year's quarterback draft, right?
Which I'm not opposed to. I like what they did. They stacked next year. They're going to have multiple picks in multiple rounds. I like it.
So unless they take every one of those picks and draft a quarterback, then the draft is shit. Because they need a quarterback they have to hit.
Yeah, Will Howard couldn't beat Michigan, just saying, and Michigan wasn't very good last year.
However, Robin, we'll get Robin there. Michigan sent 3 out of that defense out of 11 in the first round.
Yeah.
3.
Well, and Michigan gets up for that game. I agree with him though. I mean, he couldn't beat Michigan.
Had 3 number 1 picks.
No,
3.
I get it. But that's a good point. I mean, that is a good point.
See, Robin, see, look at that. Highlight that real quickly.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Another average year, mediocre Mike.
Wait, we're waiting for those 2 words. Will we get the 2 words, ladies and gentlemen?
I don't know. Will we get him? I don't know. We should.
Hold their breath.
He's never. Yeah.
By the way,
He's never failed us before, folks. He never failed us before. He's always
Eddie,
delivered.
did we get confirmation on his hand measurements?
I don't know.
There it is. If we had to hold our breath, we'd have been all right.
Yeah. I don't know. Did they say anything about it, Trace?
I don't know.
I don't think so. The kid looked fine in college.
Will Howard? No, he has big hands. He has big hands.
Big old oven mitt.
Compared to what?
I don't know how you compare them. Compared to a
Kenny
silverback
Pickett.
gorilla or a chimpanzee or an
You
orangutan.
know what's funny about that? You know, Troy Aikman didn't have big hands.
All hands.
I mean, if you go to the camp
Hall of Fame.
the Hall of Fame, they have his hand molds. His hands were literally pretty much the same size as mine, and I was pretty much shocked by that. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and you didn't play quarterback in the NFL.
I did not.
So that's very. I mean, honestly, I think it's overrated.
Yeah.
I think
I don't know. I think you talk to some quarterbacks. I know they had Rich Gannon talking about that on Sirius XM a while back, and he was saying, you know, when you get a wet ball, you know, in weather, he said, you know, it's more beneficial to have big paws, you know, because you can grip it a little bit better. You know, he said also too when it's September and you're playing down in Miami, you know, and you're behind that center that's sweating like a you know what.
Yep.
You know, that ball can get slippy, and you know it's
balls are slippy, huh, Bill?
They are. So that's the moral of the story.
You agree with him? Why did you agree with him? You don't agree with him. Oh my God!
All right, let's move on here. Let's talk some NFL news. As we talked before, Trey Hendrickson shows up at Bengals practice. Said he's frustrated over contract. They got to get this thing done, man. They got to get this thing done.
Money, man. How can they afford it?
Well, that's true. He's
too much on the other
40
side.
mil. He's going to want 40 mil, right?
He's 32.
Okay.
Couple months older than TJ. We know this. We watch football.
But I'm saying he's going to want 40 mil.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, we have eyes. We know that soft tissue injuries at that age don't.
He said he's 32. I didn't say age. I said he's looking at 40 mil.
No.
I
think you're going to offer him a contract around $34 million.
It's like zig and zag, you know, watching a tennis match.
Billy, he'll make $16 million this year. If you offer to double his salary plus $2 million, he's a fool. FOOL, not to take it.
Shedeur Sanders took the field for the first time in a Browns uniform as they began rookie minicamp. And then Saints QB Derek Carr retired. Said because of significant degenerative changes in his right shoulder. Apparently, he hurt this in week 14 and never reported it. I always thought in your contract you have to report injuries.
I think you have to.
Right. So I don't know. That could be an issue.
I didn't read it.
That could be maybe he has an insurance policy out on himself, and I don't know.
You know what his career earnings in the NFL are?
Probably pretty significant, right?
Watch Rodgers sign for the Saints.
Wow.
Billy didn't answer.
That's heavy, Ogre.
What?
What are Derek Carr's career earnings in the NFL?
I don't know. I said I don't know.
Billy, give me a scientific wild ass guess.
He's made some money. I know that much.
270 million, Eddie.
No, too high. Around 205 million. Can you believe that though?
Yeah, I can believe it.
$205 million.
I can believe it.
Wow.
All right, let's anything else we want to talk football related? We got some other shit stuff we got to we got some other stuff we have to talk about.
I don't have anything else, William.
No, Tracy.
I mean Tracy. I'm looking at you, thinking about sweetheart Talent over there. Mr. Talent, what do you think?
I think we're good. Let's move on.
They
Okay.
were good. Let's move
All right. Something we didn't address last week. Mike Sullivan, obviously, this happened, 10 days now, I think?
Yeah.
Mutually agreed to part ways with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Right to the Rangers.
Right to the Rangers. Just got announced as their head coach the other day. You know what? I can't say I'm surprised. I'm just going to leave it at that. Mike.
Flyers won't talk it too. The Flyboys won't talk it.
Yeah. You got to hand it to Mike. I mean, he was, the success that they had with the back-to-back cups was largely because of him. I think he's a great coach. But, in the NFL, in the NHL, there's an expiration date on coaches, and a lot of times they're a lot sooner than other sports, And
I think the writing was on the wall a long time ago. Some of those moves he made. Some of those players that they gave him, he just couldn't use the pieces.
Right, and we said this before that I felt like his philosophy kind of got stale somewhat. And I guess at some point in time, I just feel like you got to move on. And I think it was for both parties involved. I think it was the right time to move on. And I think he's going to be a good coach in New York. I think he's going to be, a fresh start for him, and best of luck to him. Now, who do you get? Who do you hire now? That's the next question. Who are you looking at to hire? I haven't really looked at who's out there. I don't know. I guess that's something maybe.
So Quinville went to what do you call it? So he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
Tockett's going to go to the Flyboys. He's gone. Do they look to their minor league system?
Well, I mean, you could, but I don't. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to look elsewhere. I don't know.
Who's running the search, William?
Well, I think we know Kyle Dubas is the one that's doing the search. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna pretty much say that Sidney Crosby has a lot to
say in it.
To say in it as well. So
here's an idea. Why don't they go old school like Reggie Dunlap? Why not? Exactly. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Okay.
Why not hire Crosby now? Why not? Seriously.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Come on.
Ridiculous.
Old school.
Speaking of Crosby, the IIHF, he's playing.
I don't get Eddie.
He's playing. Him and Fleury are playing. He just scored against France, I want to say, and then they beat Latvia the other day, and I think they beat Slovenia.
Wait, isn't Flower retired? What if he comes back as the coach?
There you go. France is known for their hockey, Billy.
Oh, say.
Yeah. Well, I know. Yeah, they beat France 5-0.
That's it.
They beat Latvia 7-1, and then they beat Slovenia 4-0. So Canada just
Orthodox.
Yeah, Canada just cleaning it up. But yes, Sid's on that team. Fleury's on that team. The Flower.
Triola with a 2-run homer.
Nice to see the Flower and Sid on the same team once again. So.
That is pretty cool. But what about Tracy's point? What about bringing the Flower to coach?
I don't think he's a coach. I could never see Marc-Andre Fleury coaching.
What about like a Tyler Kennedy? He's still pretty active with the team.
Well, I don't know. A guy that has no experience coaching, I don't think you just elevate him to head coach,
They got to make their mark, earn their scars and bruises and calluses in the minor leagues.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm at a loss. That's something for another show. I guess so.
Perhaps a show called Puckett.
Perhaps, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on here. The other coaching change we had in this town was Derek Shelton out as manager. Donnie Kelly, the bench coach, taking over.
Where's Donnie Kelly from? Donnie.
He's from Butler, I want to say.
He's not. He's from Mount Lebanon.
Okay.
Yeah. The Kelly family from Mount Lebanon.
Okay.
Good friends with my neighbor.
I mean, I know he had a 9-year career in the majors.
Yes, he did.
I know he bounced around a lot. He played he played practically every position.
Yep.
That's no joke. I mean, he pitched for a while. He was a first baseman. He was a catcher. He was an outfielder. I mean, he played every position. 9-year career I think he's a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you.
What's their 2 and 3
again? Shelton. I don't think he's not going to be a manager anymore. He's not going to get nobody's going to hire him as a manager.
No.
He may become a hitting coach again, maybe in the, I don't know, California Penal League, maybe. I don't know.
I agree.
So
I can see him with ball caps off and sleeves off.
Yeah, no sleeves. Veg head.
Right, he'd be a great veg head.
Yeah.
Put him in a nursing homes like a MWR guy.
Eddie, since you've been ready to have all I can think about is the greatest shift in hockey history in my head right now.
But you look at it. What is Donnie Kelly right now? 2 and 3 as a manager. I mean, I worked the weekend series against the Braves. They took 2 out of 3 against Atlanta, which I was surprised by. But more of the same things with this Mets series. I mean, last night, how many guys did you have in scoring position? 18, I think. I think they said 18 guys in different guys in scoring position last night. Mitch Keller, I mean, the guy had a great outing. The guy went 7 innings. He had a great outing.
At some point in time, though, they have to realize that the players have to be held accountable.
Exactly. I agree.
You can only be the manager for so long. Get rid of it. The problem is that they don't have the flexibility of moving them up and down. I mean, get rid of them. Yeah. Bring somebody up from the minors. Do it constantly. You have to have fear's a great motivator.
Yeah. And they fired Shelton on May 8th. I wasn't too shocked. I mean, somebody's got to
called it on the show.
Yeah, I called it.
Make it through May.
Yeah, I didn't think he was. And somebody's got to be held accountable. And unfortunately, it was him. And he wasn't given much to work with. But I'll tell you what, Derek Shelton, way too many times did his lineup and his pitching changes cost them games. Way too many times. I can't tell you how many times. That's what I said. If you're looking at a guy who, he did not play in the majors. He was a minor league journeyman,
career minor leaguer, yeah.
And didn't really do anything in the minors either. Wasn't a good hitting coach in the minors. Wasn't a good hitting coach for Cleveland. This is a quintessential guy that's failed upwards, and I've said that before.
He's Lou, baby.
Yeah.
He's got a guy on the other Firestones.
Right.
I mean,
I'm going to take it a step further. I think Ben Cherry should have went with him as well. I mean, the way some of the decisions he's made, drafting some of the, and isn't it funny? I heard his house in Sewickley was up for sale, and the Pirates organization come out and said it just happens to be a coincidence. It's apparently he wants to buy a house closer to the PNC Park is what they're saying. So I don't know.
Reduce his commute.
Yeah. So
you look at the Miami Marlins with an overall salary of about $37 million. They have 15 wins.
Yeah.
Pirates are at $95 million. They have 14 wins.
And I know there's other teams like the Rockies that got rid of Bud Black, and they're terrible, but
7-35.
Yeah. But Donnie Kelly to me is a breath of fresh air. I think he's 2 and 3.
He has energy at least.
Yeah, he does. He does, and the guy knows baseball. Like I said, he played 9 years in the majors, and he's been in the organization for quite a few years now.
Bench coach.
Yeah, and I mean he's like I said,
in the show, baby.
Yeah, he's a breath of fresh air. I think it's now, yeah, like I said, you gotta get this offensive, woes. You got to get this solved. I mean, Skeens doesn't get run support. Mitch Keller doesn't get run support. Keller had a great outing, last night. I mean, he had a great outing last night, and you couldn't get it. You had 18 guys, that couldn't get that you stranded out there, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's pretty bad when your 38-year-old Andrew McCutcheon is your best hitter in the club right now, and and I'll tell you something, Brian Reynolds got to get it. He's got to get it together too. He's got to get it together. He's in a hitting slump, and he's got to get it together. So
he's hitting under 200.
Yeah, and I mean that's first time in his career.
They just don't have a plan for anything. Like, are they going to go up and take pitches? Are they going to be aggressive? What again? It's another one of these Pittsburgh teams who has no vision whatsoever.
Yeah.
None.
Right? Is it going to be small ball? Or are they hitting home runs? Which way are we going here?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Bucks have 4 guys batting under 200 in the starting lineup. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
awful.
you can't do anything with that.
Yeah.
But to have such a precipitous fall, even though you just who are their talent evaluators? Seriously. I mean, who are their talent evaluators?
I don't know.
Because they struck gold.
Probably from Virginia.
Probably.
Yeah.
Deep in.
I mean, this week, you've got after you're done with the Mets tonight, you go to Philly,
Yeah.
And I mean, these are,
And I heard on today, I can't remember. I was listening to McAfee, and they were talking with the guy from ESPN, and apparently they can trade Skeens right now. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they could. Yep.
They can trade him right now if they wanted.
Yep.
And what does that package look like?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. What does it look like?
It looks ginormous. You could build a team off it.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
If you're not going to use them, let them go. Let them be free. Well,
if you're not going to build around them, you let them go. I agree.
Right. Yeah. They said they have the best pitcher.
I mean, why are you keeping him around? They're keeping him around to put butts in the seats. Is what it comes.
They have the
down
best pitcher in the minors right now too. The Pirates do.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but he's the best pitcher in the minors who's coming up.
Yeah.
And apparently they have him. There's another one that their rotation would be one of the best in the MLB if these two players come up. One's injured and one's the best in the minors. I don't remember their names because I wasn't necessarily paying attention because it is the Pirates. But if you have that kind of talent, especially in arms, it's an arms race. That's what baseball is. Why would you not bring them up?
I mean, I know you're going up against the Mets. You know they have the best team ERA, I think, in baseball right now. I think it's like 288. But then you're going to go face the Phillies, who I think are like close to 400 in strikeouts.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Schwarber, who's got 14 dingers.
Right. So yeah, it's going to be a rough road trip for the Pirates. But all right, let's talk Riverhounds real quick. I know Ed, you and I are the beat writers, one of the beat writers for them. Rough time in Louisville. Draw. I mean, what the heck, man? Like
Well, Billy, they had four times they got the ball to Augie. 4 times. He only managed one shot, and the shot that he had, he takes too long. He's not a one-touch person. He's trying to aim. It's a one-touch league, man. And it doesn't have to be the most perfect ball. It doesn't have to be the best part of your foot. But he had 4, golden opportunities, Billy. This is the first time I've ever seen them click with Augie. The pace on the ball was perfect. By the way, that stadium in Louisville, beautiful natural grass, I said. Beautiful natural grass.
They own the gas rights.
They own the gas rights. But, beautiful field. But the pace was perfect on the ball. They had so many opportunities to score. It was ridiculous. And they just could not score. But it was very encouraging. They hung with one of the better teams in the USL.
Well, it is. The draw is. It doesn't make for good TV. That's for sure. To draw,
but it's a 2-game unbeaten streak.
Yeah.
And you go on Saturday.
It is. You
go to Colorado Saturday. Then midweek you got Philly.
Right.
You can get another point or 3 points this weekend, and possibly show well against the Union, even maybe win.
Yeah.
That's an incredible 4-game streak, 4-game run.
Right. Yeah.
But this was the first time that they measured the ball very well, and it was right there for Augie. He just too many touches, man. For somebody who's 5th in the USL with 77 goals all time, I scratch my head sometimes. It's a one-touch game. You're not going to always get the best touch you want on it, but that's why it's a one-touch,
Right. Well, like you said, they went up against the one of the best teams in the USL in Louisville and drove them, so it wasn't they still got a point. So
And they held him. They held him pretty tight too.
Yeah.
I mean,
they defended well.
Dick came up with an amazing saves again. Amazing saves. He keeps them in the games.
Yeah.
I know Lily has some issue with him sometimes, but he keeps them in games, man. He really does.
Yeah. So, all right, let's hear about our girls on the gridiron. Tracy.
So first 2 games, they scored 104 points. Only gave up 13 points for 2-0. Their quarterback's a stud for sure.
104 points in the first 2 games.
Yeah. I can't.
Holy.
I don't remember what team she came from. She played another team in the league, and then she moved over to us, and they're dominating right now. I know they play 3 away games, and then they're gonna play 3 home games.
Wow.
Yeah, they're doing really well.
That is impressive.
That's very impressive. 104 points and they scored in the first 2 games. Wow.
Yeah, 104, and they only gave up 13 points, and one of the games was a shutout. So,
jeez.
Wow, that is very impressive.
Yeah. Okay, well,
somebody's yawning.
They're sorry. They're I guess it's that time. Yeah, it's
night,
man. We'll see you.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a wrap, I guess. Is there anything else to talk about? I don't know. Did I miss anything?
I don't think you did, sir.
Nothing going on with Pitt. I haven't heard anything.
How's the blue background look? Trying different backgrounds.
Not bad.
Not bad. Good.
All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I'm sure next week we'll have some stuff to talk about. More stuff to talk about.
And remember, hit that subscribe button. And if you didn't hear it here, it doesn't count. It's all fake.
Yeah, exactly. So
there you have it.
Yep, there you have it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week.